Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my July wrap-up video, even though it's a little bit late into August. Since I recently started my YouTube channel, I decided that this would be the best video going forward now. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm starting this 15 minutes after my first round of walking in the racetrack, or whatever it's called. I have no idea how it's called in English. I'm a little bit out of breath, but I can go ahead and do this part of the video. Of my finished books, I'm gonna start talking about the Six of Crows duology. I initially had always been interested in getting them. What I did not know initially is that they were part of the Grishaverse. So, before this month, I actually had read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and now I got to the Six of Crows duology, which would be Six of Crows and Cricket Kingdom. This pretty much the duology follows, for those who watched the series and have not read the books, follows Cass, Jasper, and Nina, and Inej, and Matthias. They're on their way to making a big heist in the first book, and the second book pretty much is after the heist. I'm not gonna talk much about it. I may not be the best explaining books. I'll be working on that, but yeah, pretty much that's the hang of it. Next book I'm gonna talk about that I finished in the month of July. It's a C.S. Lewis book. It's not a fantasy book. It's actually one of his nonfiction works. It's a Christian book. It's called The Four Loves. And he talks about 4 different types of loves. It's eros, charity, friendship, and affection. This was a book that I really enjoyed, but at the same time I was confused when I read it, but mostly because he was going like very philosophical about it, and I am not. I don't tend to go very philosophical about things. I just like facts, and it took me like I was confused at things. I know, like in my reading journal, I made the comment like I have to read this again because in the first read, even though it's like it's not a long book, like with the first read, you're not gonna understand a lot of the things that he is talking about. But I think it's a very worthwhile book for those who are interested to learn what he has to say about loves and the different types of loves that he goes through in this book. I decided to talk about this other book, Walking, because it was actually an audiobook that I finished. I did not start it on July, but I finally finished on July, and that was actually The Rise of Kyoshi. I really enjoyed the book. It had that feeling of The Last Airbender. I really liked that series, so I really appreciate it. And like, even though it was like YA and like more directed towards like younger audience in a way, it still has like those topics that make it darkish in a way, and like seeing somebody like narrating them, like it does give a different experience when you're listening to a book. So yeah, it was a really good book. If you really like the Avatar universe, I really recommend you reading The Rise of Kyoshi. Even if you're not a reader, really, you should just read it because it's a really good book. The other book I read is titled Blaze Raft Games. This book launched this year. It's written by a Puerto Rican writer, Amparo Ortiz. Pretty much it's like a Olympic style book, but instead of having your usual sports, it's like a dragon sports. I thought it was super interesting that they actually, like, the writer, what she did was makes like the fantasy thing we're used to, but instead of putting it like more medieval-ish times, she actually put it like in present times. So that is something I actually pretty enjoyed about this book. And something I have to say about this book, if you're like in a reading slump or you're looking for a book to recommend to somebody if they want to start reading, I think this is a great book to start. I really enjoyed it. It was a really fast read, even though it was like 400 pages. It took me like 2 days to finish it. So yeah, I totally recommend it. So pretty much we have the Puerto Rican team that is representing in the Blaze Draft Games, which is done like every 2 years. In between this like Olympic style games, there's something going on. So it's not only like the sports, but there's like this issue that is going on throughout the story. And like I really enjoyed it. The read is a pretty easy read, a fast-paced book. Okay, the other book I read, this was actually my least favorite book. I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more because I thought I have read good reviews about the writer, but I guess like not everything is the best. And this was like the first book I have read about the writer. It's Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. The reason I read it was because the main character, the protagonist, she's mute and she speaks sign language. So I was interested to see how she incorporated the sign language inside the story. I thought it was very interesting the way she did it. However, the storyline, I did not like it that much. I mean, it was the dystopian thing. I really liked the dystopian thing. I really like how she incorporated the sign language, the disability representation, but like I guess like the plot itself, I don't know, there was something I did not really enjoy about that book. But I did finish it, and I actually, like, even though I did not like it that much, I'm looking forward to see what she does with the second book, which is titled Steel Striker. However, I will not buy that book when it comes. I would just rent it. I would just like get it from the library because I don't think it's, in my opinion, like for my likes, I did not like it that much. So, and for me, I don't think it's worth it to have it on my library, just because I did not enjoy it that much, and I won't probably like go back to reread it, even though I do like the covers for the books. The last book I finished reading, well, technically it was not the last book. The last book was Crooked Kingdom, but I left it for the beginning when I spoke about the Six of Crows duology. But this last book I'm gonna talk about is a book that I was actually like really looking forward to read. It's Pachinko. It's pretty much like historical fiction book. It's talk about like it's like a generational book. I really like those type of books. It's not the first multi-generational book that I have read. I have also read the House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. It's also a multi-generational book, but in this case, they're talking about Koreans that have actually left to Japan when Japan took siege over Korea, if I'm not wrong. I apologize if I said something wrong. I think that's how it goes. This is a pretty good read. It's like novel type of books that I used to read when I was in high school. I really enjoyed the book, and actually I almost cried at the end because of my favorite character in the book. I suffered a lot. The reason I read this book, it's because they're actually gonna do like an adaptation, and one of my favorite actors is actually gonna be on it, and I wanted to read it before I watched that adaptation. I usually like reading the book before the film or the series. I already had a bad experience with Game of Thrones in that part. with season 1. I watched first season 1 and then I read the first book, and I was dreading to finish the book, and I don't want that to happen with any other of the books that I read. So yeah, I totally recommend it if you like historical fiction and if you like that multi-generational aspect in books, like I do. And if you have never read a multi-generational book, I totally recommend it. It's a different experience because you don't have only, okay, in this case, like you always have one main protagonist, but you're gonna change, like that main protagonist is going to stay the same during the generations, but you're gonna have like new protagonists every time, and you're gonna have like different stories with different protagonists and that timeline, and it makes it like a dynamic in a way. So yeah, I really recommend those types of books. So if you have the chance to read Pachinko, I totally recommend it, and The House of Spirits as well. They make it a fiction, but it's based on events that happened in real life, so that way you can also learn a little bit about history. For this last part, I'm gonna talk about the only book I did not finish. This one was Liz's Story, by Stephen King. I started to read this book because I saw I actually like have my own reading challenge for a month. So like the prompt said like read a book from this YouTuber called Mike's Book Reviews, and like I saw that at the moment he was reading it, so I decided to take it on. And then I found out like it does actually have its Apple original series or movie, I don't know. So I started to read it. I did not finish it in July, so I have actually been working in August to finish it. So far I've been liking the book. It goes like from present to past and so on. I really like that format in books. It's like I get a little bit like confused at times, but like I guess once you get more into the book, you get more used to it. In my case, I got more used to it, and I liked the book. And I'm looking forward to finish it in August. If not, I will finish it before the end of 2021. So I have an observation about myself. I called the channel Listar's Reading Corner. I'm making the videos. Okay, I'm not home, so that's why I'm making the videos in unusual places. I'm currently on vacation visiting my family. It's not really a reading corner, but thinking about it, I mean, I did say in my book to newbie tag video that I read everywhere, so I guess everywhere is my reading corner. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to comment on the video, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. Till next time.